disrespect and violations are not tolerated. Neither is there impersonation and defamation. Plagiarism and fraud. These things are not tolerated, nor is there false narrative, nor is there involvement in my life and private property. Words are practice, meaning their game, their act, their silence, their abuses. Their using, their abuse of my 30s. They'd have to be crazy to think that I would ever want anything to do with people like that. I'm not living to be their entertainment. I'm here to enjoy my life and to have my career in my life. And this is the utter disrespect, the vileness, their lies, their exclusion of me in my own life while pretending to know me or work with me. Their abuses of what I put out there on my channel, life. They're speaking on my behalf. They're swindling. They're gaslighting. Their narcissism game. Their thievery. Their mockery of what they never had the right to do in the first place. Their unwarranted abuses, violations. The way they have treated me. My body. My time. My autonomy. Basic needs. Fundamental rights. I think I'd waste my time on people and things like that. Or compromise what is not necessary to compromise. What they've never even explicitly said or spoken. When they don't know me and I do not know them. When I've been here alone the last 10 years. Defamed and isolated and doing my own work. When I couldn't tell you their names. Those are the names I have no idea. Their distortions and mental abuses, fucking with perceptions, impersonation, role playing. Those things they were using as excuses to participate outside of the parameters I set for my art practice, and they're taking advantage of my personal life stories and time and real education and skills, and I've been through this 5 billion times. The last thing I want to do is waste any more time. And what is unfathomably sadistic, atrocious, psychotic, inappropriate, unwarranted, uncalled for. You don't have to like me, but I am not here to appease people or humor their preferences. That's not why I have an art channel or have a career as an artist or am who I am or where I dedicate my time. It's not on people who take advantage of it. And it's not for their benefit, as no one in this world is entitled to know A, the future, B, that's not how it works, C, to ever take advantage of someone else's career, livelihood, time, effort, choices in life. Personal. It is not their game. It is not for their entertainment, and it is not about them. It was not made with them in mind, and it is not inspired by them. The only reason anyone would have a problem with that, or me speaking about what it is about and what was inspired by and who I am, would be someone committing identity fraud or trying to override any narrative. Whatever. It's not my concern, not my problem. There's not a person in this world that means more than a cup of coffee to me. There's not a person in this world I would sacrifice for. There's not a person in this world that deserves anything of the sort or whatever. I don't know when this became about sacrifice. This is an art practice and career. This is my livelihood. This is my illustration business. This is how I live and things that I document and want to remember. It's not about people or their preferences or their issues or their games or whatnot. That things that it was about before also were incorporated, was taken advantage of and assumed, and assumptions, and that's not what I'm about. I'm not your investment. I'm not your lackey. I'm not your mother. I'm not your daughter. I'm not your sister. I'm not your coworker. I'm not your friend. I'm not your savior. I'm not your provider. I'm not your guide. I'm not your whore. I'm not your toy. I'm not your punching bag. I'm not your piggy bank. I'm not your game. I'm not your competition because I spoke my own thing. I don't even know who you are. You're like walking past my house and like obviously stalking me. Like I've never seen you before in my life. It's pretty obvious who's stalking who, and that's a word that I will use, even though I'm not, things aren't compartmentalized. I'm not doing that with you people. How I define things, I run this art channel. It's not for people's interpretation of the topics we talked about that are of like a spiritual nature and the cosmos and things. You can come to your own conclusions on those things and theologies and whatnot. That's your life, that's your choice. But how I present things and how I speculate and what I have lived is what I go by, and that's the parameters of my art practice. It's not for people's like, I'm disgusted. What people have done makes me sick to my stomach. Although, like, metaphorically, I'm not. This isn't a wish list conceptual art practice. How dare someone go into someone else's channel? Go find one of the other billion YouTubers. Go bother them and tell them that their playlists are a wish list and go ruin their fucking lives, you pieces of fucking. There is no act. that ever necessitates people like that into my life, or anyone to abuse me in any capacity on that level, or any level of that sort, any nature. God damn, or to make decisions or sign off on someone else's life, like, you forging cunts. It is not about aggrandizing people who already have careers and who already have like their own thing. It's just not about you people. I know people are so desperately like sad about that, but maybe that is like some overall lesson they need to apply their own deflective narcissism game and apply it into their own lives and keep the fuck off of me, because I am not you and we are not the same person. We do not share a soul, a mind, a body, a career, an art perspective, experiences. What happens to me, not you people. What I live is what I live. I am not letting people live my experiences for me in any capacity. I do not know what that's about. That seems insane. I don't play games here. I'm not doing some sort of goddamn entrapment of, well, no. These are topics. These are theories also. If you can't wrap your head around that, please don't pretend to be smart enough to ever have any say in anyone else's life, especially someone you do not know. When I consider each and every one of you people a stranger. Not family, not friends, strangers. Who I allowed to see my process and witness things that go on in my life and any of the projects that I've created, and to collaborate with me if they want to reach out and speak with me directly. But there is no such thing as someone running my life when I do not even know those people. I run my life. These are not difficult concepts. And I know it's funny for people of small-mindedness and low intelligence to find humor in the disrespect or utter vileness of what the fuck they've done. But it's not okay, and there are laws, and there are consequences, and I am not here to hold anyone's hand while they do horribly atrocious things. I don't know anyone who would put up with. I'm not the exception. I value my career, and I value my privacy, and I value my time and what I want out of life and what I want to bring about in my life a billion times over yours. This is not a goddamn joke. I'm not here to be your fucking savior. I'm not here to be your goddamn crystal ball. I'm not here to be your machine. I'm not here to be your AI. I don't care what the fuck you've made up in your little narrative or your game or United States BS crap. It is not for their determining. I want no part in that. As I've said and spoken on record as well as I possibly could. No one's ever spoken to me directly. I don't have any contacts, so there was no way to reach them and say, by the way, I need you to know that I would not let you make those decisions in my life. And if you continue to pretend otherwise, that I will be taking legal actions. I do not know you people. This is completely unacceptable, 1000%. What the fuck you people have done. What I create in my life and how I utilize materials, resources, is my business. Mediums, my business. Not about that couple as detrimentally as they affected my life. As drastically, as abusively, as dramatically as they affected my life. It is not about them. Or for anyone's determining beyond me. I'm not playing these little petty games, and I'm not interested in people that do. In any capacity. This is my real life I take seriously. It's not a game for anyone. Neither is my body. Neither is their defamatory crap narratives I will not allow in my life. That is my final say, as has always been. I am not Miriam Farish. In fact, I have to deal with something in court with her. So we are definitely goddamn separate people. We live separate lives, and I can account for mine as I have on here the last 10 years and whatnot. It's not for your determining or anyone else's. Facts are facts. I'm not playing games. I'm not letting someone conflate their identity with mine. I'm not playing some sort of freak ass game. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing along. Their crap abuses or their delusions that they're owed something or entitled to something in their minds of some ridiculous nature that they've gone off someone else's like or their preconceived notions or their distorted perceptions or someone else's distorted narrative. But it's, like I said, you don't have to like me. You don't even have to find me, you don't have to find me attractive. You don't have to like what I put out there. You don't have to like what I say or what I'm talking about. That's fine. I would really hope that you go find someone else's YouTube channel to watch that speaks more to your preferences or topics of interest or, whatever the fuck. But I'm not here to change or make things good for people. I'm not one of those YouTubers. I'm not one of those people who are like, no, this is my digital art studio. I allow people to watch and go and see what goes on in it. I had specific ways people could participate. I talk a lot about art and design my own life, and it's slowly evolving as I do different projects, and that is what it is. And as I've said that, and if you have any questions about that, I don't know why anyone would or even care that much to like watch this and be like, I don't know. Let me double check that. I don't care if people have things writing on me or what they signed me up for that they didn't communicate and never have. I don't work for free. I don't give my time away for free. I don't let other people in my homes do anything within what is solely a private residence and private family home. And I have a studio here where I create my illustrations, work, and art and whatnot, but it's not for other people. If someone were to hire me, I would have them, it doesn't matter, but like this isn't for strangers to walk into. This is a private independent art practice here. And if I were to work with anyone else, then they would have to provide a workplace space for me to go to because this is a private family residence. And I don't work with like guessing games and maybe they mean that. I'm not doing that anymore at all. I'm an adult. I would hope that I'm speaking with adults and talking to adults as well in regards to a lot of these, but I've stated my boundaries and what I'm willing to do and what I'm not. So, and what is acceptable and what isn't, and what is required and what is standard, professionally or otherwise, and what cannot be conflated with my life is considered defamation. And if you don't know the definition of that, look it up. Very clear on that before you go about ruining someone's life and career and heart and soul. Because maybe your ego is bruised or you related to something that I said that wasn't even directed at you, or you misinterpreted something, or you feel like I'm supposed to be here to cater to your preference. I am not. And if you thought you were the bar or standard, please reevaluate yourselves. And then realize that also I am not yourself. I do not live through your wives, your girlfriends, or any other woman. Go bother the woman who made that song and says, I'm every woman, or any other terrorist. I'm like, I'm everything. No, I'm not. I speak for me, as I can only hope anyone to ever do. To like, if you're going to speak about anything, I can only hope that people speak from and within their own experiences, and that's outside of like conceptualizing and theory and whatnot. For the most part, that's what people, I don't know where anyone gets off speaking for anyone else and not saying as much. Or we're told something by someone who isn't me, when I'm not going to speculate about how they've even gotten to those conclusions or how the fuck they think that I would ever be beholden or here to humor their intentions or their agendas or their misinterpretations of what I've said is what it is. Your interpretation isn't necessary. And if you can't grasp what I'm doing here and how playlists are separate and everything's to be evaluated on individual sort of basis and context, and that it's under a topic and preference and all of these things that are not just not about the people that, especially not about the people around me or in this neighborhood who for some reason thought it was. And think every time I put something, they seem to behave in the way that every time I add something to my channel or do something on this channel or make a video, that somehow forgives what they've done or they've turned my life into some sort of liability act, and it's not okay. I stated the facts and foundation of what it is I've said, done, created. I move forward with what I'm creating. I make a new series. When it's just not, it's not about these people as narcissist as they are, and as much as they would love it to be. It isn't, and isn't for their say, and isn't for their deciding, and it's not for their approval, and it's not for their. I can't. I can't even imagine what they must have said in order to believe these things, actually, and to carry them forward, to believe the things that they must have said to themselves about me over the years in order to treat me in such horrific ways. And I did want to clarify that it's not wrong that I exist. That's not what I was saying in my last other video. I was wondering, like when I was out driving one night, leading up to an intersection, I was kind of just thinking, what the fuck could I have done to any people that I like really don't know that many people, and I certainly don't know them to the degree that I could really hurt them. um, I was just thinking, like, what in the world could I have ever done these people to make them hate me so much as to take out the last 10 years of like berating and belittling and dehumanizing, defaming, ruining, trying to all the things that they tried to do in order to just give me a four-wall house so they could use my timing and insights and life and whatnot, the parts that work for them. Well, pretending I was a whore, and they would have to, I suppose, because else does it account for all these years that I was living here, what I was doing, if I wasn't creating my art practice, which I was, and doing all the work, doing the most, as intersection timing confirms, as well as I would assume I'm the artist of my art practice. Who else would be doing anything? Yeah, it's just bizarre. But so I was wondering that, and what in the world could I have ever done to these people to make them hate me so much, or to think they have the right to do this to someone, or to anyone, or for that matter, but literally someone who just like I couldn't tell you their names. Like, if you didn't like my opinion, that's okay. I'm not here to kiss asses or flatter people's egos. I don't know why they think I would be. It's bizarre. And so yeah, I was thinking about that, and intersection was just like, oh, you're born, you live, existent. That's what, I would think that someone who didn't really create any offenses, I don't know, just lived a pretty normal life, would probably err on the side of live pretty good and decent life with integrity. Like, it'd probably assume it's like evil and has a problem with me existing, or just people that would rather see me fail or whatnot. I don't know those people, but as even like leading up to moving back home, I didn't even have that many. Like, the only person I could think of was that stalker Miriam. That might have had a problem with me. I really just never thought But this is why you don't move in a small town, especially as an artist. Like, word of advice to any. It seems nice, and it seems like, oh, maybe I could find some sort of quiet small town, go live like in a barn and paint, beachside, and go into town, quiet fisherman's town, for coffee in the morning, and it would be amazing. But that doesn't seem to like really exist. It's a lot of pettiness and cliques and just flat out atrocious abuse and psychotic narcissism, deflections, and infantile, just completely like almost insidious, subtle crap that I'm just like, I'd rather you just tell me what your problem is with me. Like, if you can't do that, and if you can't sum it up in like 5 words, I don't really feel like you should have any problem. Like, if you can't, I don't know, but it's just also then not my concern. I've never been so disgusted by people's behavior or vileness or just utter disrespect, and the fact that the things have gone on is many years as they have, and nothing was done, and the people just felt so entitled to do what they wanted and to replace me in my own life, which obviously that's not acceptable or allowed or anything that most normal people would ever think to do or tolerate. And the fact that people have just written off these complaints as something that they could get something out of. No, these things happen in my life, and it's just I'm not going to go by anyone's game rules or whatnot. I stand up for my art practice, my career, my life, what I've done with my time. I stand up for who I am. Who I am is the antithesis of what the fuck they've said about me, but I'm not playing their game of contradictions and comparisons and their codependency in doing so, and because that in its nature needs something to compare to, it's codependent. So it is what it is, what I've created here, and that's how I defined it. And I don't care about people who attached themselves or tried to associate to what I was doing or tried to tried to divvy it up or whatnot, because I know what I did. I know you couldn't convince me otherwise ever, not for the life of you, or that you would ever be entitled to what I created or lived or am or need, or that I am a human being living and a straight natural woman. And the fact that anyone's just like, no, you have to be your little, like, it's bizarre. And those are people who need help if they think that there's some sort of game or act that would ever necessitate that or ever be just would ever be allowed. Not in my life, not here, not with what I created. It is what it is. How dare people go into it's not just someone else's life, but it's also a career. And people are completely disrespectful, apparently. People are completely selfish, apparently. People are completely ignorant, apparently, and have almost zero regard for. It's funny that the title of that movie, Ted Bundy, that perfectly sums up 3 distinct ways I've found someone lookalikes and whatnot to this one guy that has been described in those separate ways, or through other people. It's just very difficult to explain. There's seems to be someone who does spell work, I think. And then we'll mention something like wicked, which just things I don't want to insight into my life, so I don't want to say them. But that the title of that movie just perfectly describes 4 different people. And I was wondering what vile. I kept saying that one day, and I'm like, it's just my my new word. Now they're so vile, but then I was like, yeah, never mind. This is just layered parallel connections that I try to figure things out via shockingly evil, with utter disregard for human life. And to think I could account for people who are literally playing dress-up games, if not, because that's the sane explanation for what seems to be skinwalker shapeshifters, people playing dress up, playing disguises. Masquerade, but that was again just a thematic. Going back to Phantom of the Opera, my great grandmother was an opera singer. The ascendant rising sign that we all have, that it's the mask we wear when we go out in public, the natural first impressions or instincts in a sense of interactions. Sometimes I do with the way people look, but that's more tarot. Ascendant, just, actually, no, there's astrology, some characteristic traits. Yeah. It's in a lot of things, like No Tears Left to Cry, that song. She's like putting on masks. Heaven on Earth, Louis Vuitton collection by Virgil. They all had Phantom of the Opera like masks. Some other collections as well. The idea of a phantom planet, but masquerades. There's usually one at least in all the movies that I would recycle, and I like Marie Antoinette. But those again all kind of stem from, those were movies that came out when I was like, I mean, for instance, Factory Girl and Marie Antoinette. I was in college, senior year of college, and Factory Girl, no, senior year. And I mean, I would just be up sewing all night. And my puppy that I adopted my senior year would just be like staring at me because they have more of like a sleep schedule than cats as well. I didn't realize that. And just be like, are we still up sewing? Crawling on the floor, like cutting pattern pieces at 5 a.m. and putting on the 2 movies that I had because Netflix didn't, sent them in, mailed them in, but there was not like streaming services much. There was like, what was that one? But I didn't have it in my room. I just had a TV VCR, and like 2 movies were just Marie Antoinette and Factory Girl. So I just put them on to keep me up. And I'd have some like company, something to listen to as I was sewing. And so that's why I know like every word in those movies. And also studied costume history abroad, just a May semester though. Paris in the summer leading up to the release of Marie Antoinette, and had also taken the course. So I was really excited to see that movie because we traveled to Versailles, and so all these things had little like memorable reasons for why they were like favorite movies, or I include them as like classics that I just always often referenced. But so it is personal. It's some of my favorite movies, and reasons I just like said like that. But it's also objective. Like, I'm not a phantom. I'm not going to a masquerade. I'm not, the people went to some sort of crazy extremes with their masks and their helmets and their crap and all of it. That's just so disrespectful and so hurtful. You can even think of like sayings in the Bible, like, to fear God and kind of things like that. And lyrics in that Phantom of the Opera song. I'm the mask you wear, it's me they hear. Kind of thing. Or if you want to think about it like that, it's not necessarily written in stone. I think about things in theoretical ways, and perhaps over time they take on even more personal meaning or less or whatnot, but it's an evolving art practice and not for anyone else's determination. It's like, you're welcome for letting you witness things that happen in my life and whatnot that I thought were pretty interesting to know. If not, that's okay. If you don't find them interesting, that's okay. Like, it's not here to make you people like, or the people around me at least, like, I was really literally looking for artistic collaboration and things like that. And it's unfortunate that they turned words into such distorted meanings that they then applied as fact in one dimensional ways to my life. That it's like, and you. No, that's separate from me and is everything that they've done. And it's just not my concern. I've not been privy to it and I don't follow along and I don't know them. And where to find their crap online, and that's been said 1,000 times over. It's the way that I am. And it's the way that I speak that I'm not going to compromise on. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know them. How could I even follow them, let alone is the point of being an artist to create something that I like valued when it was original to me. Like I can't even imagine why the fuck all of it is just so anyway, just dismayed by people's abuses and affinity for it and willingness, their lack of character, their lack of whatever. It's I'm so dismayed and disappointed that in people that I'm surprised I found even those words. If anyone really does legitimately feel like they are entitled to pretend to be some aspect of my birth chart or life, or even represent me or pretend to be me on any level, which would just be like bizarre when I wasn't told about their little any of it, um, and are actually challenging me on, and that's not okay because I'm not doing that. This isn't a game. Facts are established, foundation established, identity is established, pre-existing art practice, life that I'm here living but have been living is established. It's not up for debate or grabs. It's not for their say. It's insane that they wouldn't even been then able to like stand right next to me and prove to me why they pretend they have anything to do with me or my identity or what I've created, my art practice in life. I don't care what they stole. I mean, I obviously do, but like it doesn't matter because it's still of my own making. And they stole it if they stole anything. So, and then I can't believe they actually tried to silence me. It's just belittling. It's bizarre. It's so unfortunate. I did not sign up to be mocked, nor did I need their abuses in any capacity that I find completely atrocious and offensive and would never stand for, never goddamn incite or elicit out of anyone as though I'd ever treat anyone like that myself. No. No, and I don't know these people, and they are just like a community of all ganged up on one woman, expecting me to. I don't know what you could ever expect of me after what the fuck was done in the last 10 years. It's abuse. 1,000% abuse that I have no space or room for in my life. There's no words. It's because they couldn't make sense of my value of ideas, theory of everything project, data plays, whatnot. It's because they had a problem with my working title, value of ideas, and just became the title. Because, yeah, you should value ideas. They are the spark and start of everything. Just because they couldn't value that and couldn't see that that's what it was about and all its multifacetedness did not give them the right to diminish or debase any personal value of mine and take it upon themselves. She needs to learn that you need to get your head out of my goddamn business. You need to get your goddamn. You need to never, ever bother me ever again. You people. Disgusting, fraudulent, abusive, nursed assholes. Hopefully, not the people watching. Well, I hope they do see this, the people that are doing those kinds of things here. And yet again, I know it probably won't make a difference because there's just no words for people like that. I have to continue to win. Because it would be a shame. The only thing that would be a shame would be to let superficial assholes ruin what I put so much time and effort into, and people actually appreciate what I'm doing here and or have done or created and didn't feel that they were entitled to it. It would be a shame to ruin it. It would be a shame to let any of them I don't know those people. They've never spoken with me and they have no rights in my life to do what they're doing in any capacity. If you don't speak with me directly, you cannot expect any kind of direct answer. It's that clear and simple. I am not a mind reader. I'm not here to play guess who. I'm not your experiment, and I'm not here to be tested by people. Who the fuck are any of you? Who don't even know how the fuck my goddamn abilities or whatnot, how my mind works. And you thought that I was going to allow you into my home to test me and judge me? To steal from me and experiment, violate lives at every level unnecessarily? I don't see any of you sacrificing those things to get what the fuck you inflicting the life. Nor did anyone ask. Just expect me to know what the fuck was going on all this time when you purposely you kept me from it. And you expected me to like be able to. None of what the fuck you people have done is at all acceptable or at all okay. At all professional or all goddamn anything I'd ever want a part of my life. There's, like I said, no incentive. And at the very least, I could enjoy my time free of you people. Instead of being their abused lackey and crap that they've treated me as, I refuse to be. It's non-negotiable. As I've said this a billion times, I won't do it anymore. These people are not part of my life and are not me. They have no say in my life, and I am a 40-year-old woman. They wasted my 30s. They collectively decided together that they didn't think that I deserved to live them, enjoy them, or earn anything during that time, or have relations. They collectively decided that. They decided that I should be single, alone, and here on my own. That I should be. They decided that I was worthless. They decided that I should be divvied up and made a body part game. They decided that they were going to use me. That I had to be their community disposal. They decided that. The stupid fucks out there. They decided that. The stupid crap out in this neighborhood. They decided that I was their community disposal. They decided that I shouldn't have any relationship or any ability to find one because of their defamation, and that they were going to keep me here alone, single, so that they could use me at their behest, at their whenever they wanted. They decided that I didn't want to have kids or something like that. They decided those things. They decided that they should have the right to go into my life and my home and my goddamn private personal business and pretend to have some. No, they don't have that privilege of calling themselves anything to do that. I don't even know their names. They don't have the privilege of calling themselves my boyfriend. Are you kidding me? Who are you? None of you people have privilege in any capacity to make any sort of decisions of that nature, such drastic abusive decisions of any sort in my life that you do not own. As I'm shocked. Do you people think you own people? You do not own me. And I'm not responsible for Lana Del Rey's stupid as fuck song. Who wrote those lyrics? Tell me you own me. No. I'm responsible for idiots who think that like, oh, every lyric. No. You've never heard of people relating to songs, I guess. Or as I defined how I use them, how I incorporate songs and work into my playlists and art practice. I don't need to say it again because it's not that difficult a concept to grasp. So it's just utter disrespect and disregard. And someone who clearly thinks very highly of themselves to think that they have the ways to do such a thing. That's not why I worked my whole life. Not why I goddamn strove as hard as I did my whole life. You shit, so a bunch of goddamn. There are just no words to express the utter disappointment and about my life because I'm not doing things. I'm not their mirror. These complaints I had about people that they tried desperately to sweep under the rug. Desperately. Every time I made a complaint. Oh, it's actually, she means it's about this thing happening. No, because I said about my life. That's what is happening in my life. And the people trying to deflect it into some other storyline or some other whatever the fuck or some movie or some shit. I don't need to make up for their crap. I can very much have an opinion about people. I don't like them. I don't like what they've done. They deserve to be told off. They don't have the right to do that in the first place. And you don't need to make up for it because it just is what it is. They need to learn their lesson. They need to not do those things in the first place. You don't need to normalize their behavior. You don't need to expect me to humor it. You don't need to make excuses or put it in the fucking news because these are actual things that people can't do in my life, that you people can't do in my life, that you're going to my channel and doing. Asshole news. The source. Caitlin Collins. Oh, but did you even ask if you could use my, like, it's like obvious what they're implying, but did they ever pay for any insights or tips or violation of privacy? No, not once. They ever communicate with me directly? No. I had to write to their like public contact page. Yet they have access to my private home and private phone. I mean, it's not very difficult to get, apparently. Just isn't that Me Too movie with like Margot Robbie, what's it called? The three women, and they were just like selling all people's phone numbers in their company. Hack. It's easy, apparently. What they must have lied about, what they must have said, what they must have distorted in order to get people to like think so lowly. Such abuse. Really just like speculate. And give him ideas. What a good idea. Wait, you did what? You're playing that? It makes sense with some song. Maybe that's what they were talking about. I didn't know what that part of the song meant. You did what? And then, oh, how inspiring. No, it's maddening. And that's why I have to just like. And it's intended to. Intersection or systematically drive you insane. Did nothing wrong. Just existed. And was an accident. My parents wanted very much to have me. Bitch. You also tried to write herself into my life as a sister? I'm the good sister. I don't have a sister. What the fuck are you talking about, bitch? No, see, their narrative infringes on my life and the facts of it, and so that would be considered defamation and some form of impersonation. I'm not about, nor is my art practice career about. And while I've tried to humor people in the past, it's not my responsibility to do that. Or try to make the best of situation given the unique situation. Like it's not really my responsibility to have to do that. Or joke about what I find cringe. Or throw it back and tell them what the fuck I hear about me all the time. Like those aren't all intersection words, but that doesn't make me feel good. I don't like having animosity with people. They're almost relentless. They're like refresh bots. Like refresh their internal memory. 6 hours conveniently forgot everything. Or thought me like not wanting something on my channel was they just I can't even believe anyone would concern themselves that much with anyone. So that it would just be entertainment for them as a game, and it's not. It's distressing as fuck. It's my home. To even have to figure it out that people are watching me my home, never being told. I have to like hear people mocking what I just said in my bedroom like 30 minutes prior as I'm taking a walk down the street. It's not okay to do that to anyone. And you know what? Like, even if they were told something else by someone else and they're that I were under the impression that I knew or invited it in, like when I said otherwise, didn't you think that would have been your like first and only necessary indication that something was wrong? That wasn't okay? That even for self-preservation purposes, you should like not do that, you know, like, or those people shouldn't do that. I mean, it's just pretty disturbing and distressing to think that people are watching me get dressed in my room and shower and whatnot, while wondering, how did this come about? Or how did that happen? Or how did these people just walk past here doing the same thing I just described? Or whatever the fuck. Like, it's gaslighting to the nth degree, and to give them an advantage on top of that, like into my private life and a private home. Like, see where I'm doing, where I'm going, and what I'm making on my phone. Like, I have no privacy. I have to like this and like write things. It's ridiculous. It's like no wonder like, Da Vinci developed like mirror writing and shit like that. It's so disappointing. Goddamn. This nightmare. It's like, it feels like some sort of like, it's just gonna be like a prank or like a been punked kind of thing, because it's like everywhere. Turn on YouTube, turn on anything, and it's just like, it's almost like meta. They're talking about the things that they just did in some coffee shop I was just at, in some narcissism deflection game. And it's just like, it's almost like a, yeah, we live in a simulation. That's the only explanation. On cue. And literally, it's like thinking that yesterday, or maybe no, I heard it on the TV. They're like, and on cue, basically, like send in two, and then like these other two people just like turn on the corner as I was leaving my house, and just like, yeah. It's like too much. It's maybe just a little bit too much, ironically. Maybe I'm just like trying to figure out how to pay my bills and not dealing with like all their seems like some horrible other dimensional psychological mind fuck psychological game, because what else is there to do? Eternity or lots of time in other dimensions. Or just bored as fuck, suburbanite housewife. I don't know. Anyone know what's going on, or to find their shit online? Because I'm just talking about their behavior and how they yeah. It got so fucked up. Yeah, it's so mixed up. It's so I don't know how to make sense of it. I've tried. It goes beyond what other people have done or said or things. It's like input into a system. Things seem to happen in some sort of collective, like, thread type way as well. Or everyone all of a sudden, it's like, anyone I encounter is bizarre. It's bizarre. We're all like all on the same page. And then, I don't know, things, yeah, and it wasn't always this way, so I'm not even here. I feel like, I say this, it's like, it all seems so external, or it's like, seems like someone else's Saturn, or it seems like someone else's like, this like oppressive like entity almost like don't want to speak because, yeah. You know, how it's being interpreted, and even if it doesn't matter, even if it's, I just never thought people were that awful. Or if it's some big confluence of things that I'm just dismayed at. I just can't believe people are so heartless, I guess. And then make up their own. Everything they did was to better their own little, like, if she talks, then it means this. If she says this, it means that. Obviously, I'm not privy to that. So, like, I'm not going along with that. That'd be pretty unusual to expect of someone. It's not what I was about to begin with. So, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's like one big. I'm sure when I see what they've done, I'll have a lot more words, or maybe none at all, because it's just that. Oh, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, it's not that big a deal. Oh, it's in the past. Then why the fuck are we still talking about it? Or have you yet to tell me specifics or whatnot? I mean, obviously it's a narcissism game. It's just all gaslighting crap. It's just not what I want to deal with. I have such better things to deal with in my life, and I'm sure everyone else does as well. And ever have to listen to these kinds of things again, as they don't have to, but to even just I just thought facts were established and known. So if you leave someone out of like your plans, but then expect me to go along with them, that's not something I'm capable of doing. There's just no. It seems like one horrible world of people just like, what can we get from this girl? How can we all play some horrible game at her expense? I don't want to be that like victim thing, you know? That's not what I'm about. Just you'd think people would have more decency. You really would. It's really good lotion, by the way. Winter weather. If you have dry skin like me in the winter. See, I was never privy to it. I never told me about it. I just had to sit here and last like 10 years, like the pit in my stomach. You know, knowing these things, but as you can tell from my like gesture drawings, or crystal ball's not that clear. It's not like that. And I would never call myself psychic or whatnot. It's fun to talk about. Probably, I don't know. I was speaking to people who I had kind of sense of humor as friends, but either way, it doesn't matter because it's an art practice and so and just how I speak. And if people want me to change that, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that. That's not my prerogative or whatnot. I wanted to dialogue with people and hear about their perspectives and if they had any suggestions or thoughts on topics, conclusions they came to, but not regarding facts and that at least especially personal facts, I wouldn't presume or assume to know them or have the place to alter anyone else's. So, I don't know. It's like that Tupac song, Big Psych, but big might, psychological mind fuck, epic proportions, which is trying to like. Keep it in perspective. I think I don't know what's worse, like knowing what people have done, or if even no matter how bad it is, or being made to guess at every possibility. That could have happened. This could have happened. There's so much. Things like you already know. In order to keep some like. It was just good to have my own ability to like have my own place to sort of archive and track things that happen, even if it's just like a mundane day, just to know that it happened, that it's actually physically present there. Some kind of timeline to look back on that is linear, not just. I want to go into it because I don't want to put in motion. But I think that's kind of like fear that they try to like so, but it's real. You're like, oh, okay, so that's just fear. So we established that, and I've identified your little narcissism game. You're going through like a bullet point list of things. Apparently, you just watch any narcissist. It's like first thing they do is like fuck with your language, and they, deny that it's the life that life that you know, and reality as you know it is with a false narrative or some kind, and just all these things. It seems like they went through a bullet point checklist. And so you're like, okay, so I figured it out. So it's done now, right? And why the fuck did you do it in the first place? Kind of the thing is pretty much but then these things, they didn't change. So you're like, wait, so you're not playing a game? And you people just actually are like that? And, well, it's just like, and I'm sure they could probably say the same thing about me in a lot of ways. It seems like some sort of like Freudian therapy. Which, but It's so convoluted. I don't think I have anyone explanation. I feel like he'll owe me an explanation. And then that would help me see this just doesn't. I have so much cleaning and organizing to do. This computer. This. Yeah, I don't see what the point is of any of what they've done, because I feel like most of those things have been we already know them to be bad things. Like, yeah, it's not great to have your identity stolen or anything like that. What are you trying to prove? And they speak in all these weird, like, insinuating ways around me that, I'd be in my like pottery class or something like that. Or you can hear people's like conversations here at a coffee shop where they want you to hear, and they want you to question what they're talking about. It's all part of their little like, are you paying attention? Using, it'll be like things that I said on my channel or playlist or whatever video. Things that I know that they mock or whatnot, or distorted. Like finding my childhood illustrations where all I could spell was "but" and "the best." And they're like, and I'm the best, and she's a butt. Yeah, I have one. I mean, I don't know. It's just bizarre. That also has a bunch of other letters that I looked up. It looks like Swedish. And it says something in return. I feel like I have like a cat fur or something in my life. Yeah, it says something like reply letter, message kind of thing. Kind of like a faster than light speed. And the fact is, I've been waiting here the last 10 years to hear from any of these people that were like using me as like some and I'm just, well, they're on some other page. I completely. They have things out of context, distorted, words missing, remixed, spoken in other ways, out of context, out of alignment with what. Why put a gesture anywhere on a painting? Why put anything anywhere? Why choose those colors? Why even make a painting? The way I put something together was the order for the reason I put it together. That's why I obsessed so much over this thing. Tried out a lot of different playlist orders. Tried a lot of things. Yeah, and it's, I don't know, just all of it. It was a lot of thoughts. So I'm pretty disappointed. What contradictory advice we hear all the time, and stand up for yourself. Don't say anything. Quiet after disrespect. because it is. They use that placement in order to, like, that Gemini placement and the associations I made to, like, Odin and the runes and, oh my god, all these different things. My birth chart placements. An eye socket, literally, a whole birth chart, and, the back of the eye. All of it. So many things, and all it takes is them hearing that one word, and then they just, like, I guess they put things in all kinds of altered orders, word, sentence order, to make me seem like a complete idiot, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why anyone feels so, like, it's just beyond me. There's no words. Words. And it's what it is. It's just like, yeah, then it's such a sadistic, insidious, like, subtle, slow burn. You're just like, that makes you feel crazy because it's like all those in between times that nothing's really happening, and you're like, was that in my head? Did I overreact to that? No, they must be listening to me, somehow hearing what I said privately, because, well, that's just too much of a coincidence. And while I believe in coincidences, things, synchronicities, obviously happening, but I try to, like, I don't know. It's just this horrible, I mean, like, negative. I don't want to be negative. I'm not trying to be. I don't want to incite things. I'm not trying to. It's like it's one of those tarot readers. Like, they just started The Secret. It's like that 20-year-old book. Like, I feel like everyone's trying to manifest things into their life in some way, and I'm being very wary of. Yeah, but I guess there's not going to be any question about the fact that Miriam is a separate person than me, because I was dealing with her in court now. I am just so sick of all of it. Like, as the phrase goes. Unfortunately, to be, like, actually clear about that. No. It seems like this is all an effort to get me to never talk, basically, because in wondering what I did to make people hate me, the only thing I ever wrong was exist, apparently, but not actually do wrong. Just existence was what they have a problem with. My existence. That's all. Their personal issues is my, existence, apparently. It's not wrong for me to exist. My parents, definitely meant to have me. Apparently, I was talking about how we went to Turkey a lot, and that Helen and Troy video, I was conceived there. Well, TMI from a family friend. But yeah, that's where Troy was. I'm just feeling the silence now. It's probably all I should be, is silent. After disrespect, and after, yet again, more people just. I shouldn't concern myself with it, because it is just a waste of time. But at the same time, it's like, well, I wouldn't unless it was affecting my life, and it is. And not just by ruminating or wondering, because that's just, again, kind of a waste of time. But they're literally doing, like, voodoo witchcraft every time I, like, upload a video to torture me. Like, they're just the people in this town are worse than Van Gogh's townspeople. They're worse than, I don't know, because they have the internet. They have the ability to educate themselves. They have the ability to inform themselves and do a background check or anything of the sort before they go around just like ruining innocent women's lives or trying to make a career for themselves in their 30s. Like, it's just bizarre. Or they thought they were going to take credit for it. But really smart. She's really dumb. I don't follow their thing. I'm not privy. No one ever told me about it. I don't know why anyone would have an interest in doing that. I guess it seems external to me. Someone else's Saturn, someone copied my data and put it their own birth chart or something like that in place of, I don't know. I don't know. Because things were fine. The weirdest things come through, and how to describe some of these people are like, what's in? Who are you today? My mother's. Called screens, apparently. Screen, like a screen door, screen. I went to a meetup group, like a metaphysics, meetup group at a metaphysics shop on the north side, like years and years ago. And they were talking about this guy who seemed to be pretty much like an expert on some of these metaphysics topics. He was talking a lot about, he just said that for me, instead of like all these other, I don't know, I don't think it has something to do with the internet. I mean, you could speculate forever. You could go around in circles forever and just never really have the answer, especially if people are actively trying to keep it from you and distort your perception so you don't get to the answer. You're just like, yeah. Because it all got so conflated because, this is about communication and things like that. It was from the start, and linguistics and translations and all kinds of things like that. But then they read into everything, and it's not like that, and it just can't be like that. And I can't live like that, and I can't be responsible for people's like interpretations of words I meant in a certain context. Like, I can't believe any of this has happened the way that it has. It's just, I was never even able to like appreciate things that people I think did, because I didn't want to ever like assume that it was for that purpose or reason, because that would just be very narcissistic or something. I don't know. So I just went off this like objective, like, well, let's do that, and that one. and always trying to gauge between like when something in my, happened here and then that. But it almost means it doesn't even matter if there's anything of the sort of having to do with like multiple timelines or all these theoretical things that seem more and more real all the time. That was the point, having it connect to my life, just all these sorts of kind of heady topics and or just even kind of out there things are just like, what's the different, if it relates on some realistic level, it just so much more impactful, I would think. That's that sculpture fan video. Should watch. Talking about that a little bit. Yeah. I wasn't always speaking to everyone, and I never had a lot of like followers. I was never had that kind of like internet persona, with like million followers. Like it was never my goal. So I never really expected people to be very invested, I guess, in what I was. It almost seems like someone was just mirroring me the whole time because how, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh my God. This is just go around in circles and some sort of like grandeur trying nightmare. Got dark in here. It's so cold outside. It's like they almost assume every time I'm not like crying or bawling or like screaming that I'm not. I don't want to spend my life doing that. I don't want to spend my life being upset or mad or not living in the present or, the moment. Seems like every time anyone's around, they're just like taking what they can get from me. And it's like, I'm just trying to enjoy my night. I'm not trying to, I don't know. It's difficult for me to shut off my brain, but it's not for people to exploit. You're like, and what do you think about this? It's just, but they don't actually do that. They're just kind of like, fine. You don't want to like scream at people. They're just trying to be like, hee. This is so fun for us. And I often do. Get out of here. I don't think it should ever be about us. I hope this actually records my words this time. Because I watched it back the other night. The one from yesterday, and just the speech got out like halfway through it. Tech issues. I swear. Just make some sort of equation, then put into my data set and it's considered like some sort of song or something like that. I was thinking about it. Timing experiment. And yet, technology, I think, really